This video features Apple Carplay for the Nissan Murano years 2015 to 2020.
Now let's test Apple Carplay. Using a cable, same cable used for charging the phone, you can buy a longer one. You're basically going to plug this cable into the interface, and you can route the cable from back of the radio inside your armrest, so it's going to look like factory installed. Since you have everything open, you just from the back of the radio through the tunnel and into the center console, and you're going to plug in into the phone. Don't forget, in order to hear the audio or make phone calls or do anything else, your radio has to be set to aux. So to set the radio to aux, press the power button on the remote, and what you want to do is you want to plug in your phone. Once you plug in the phone, the CarPlay is going to get recognized, so the icon will reappear, whether it's CarPlay or Android Auto, and you can go ahead and basically enter the CarPlay mode, and that's it. You have the CarPlay. It says CarPlay. So the CarPlay is a CarPlay in any car in the world. It's all the same, and basically, don't forget that any car in the world you connect CarPlay to, it's going to be the same. You have your 3 recent applications, and you have all your controls. So with the remote, you can go up, down, left, right, and basically you can enter any application that you want. It's all controlled through the remote, so you can go ahead and go into any application. So let's see how the tuner radio works. So we're going to go into the radio app, and then we're going to select, let's say we're going to music. We're going to, let's say we're going to 90s, and then 90s hits, and then play it. Now the ad is running.
Tune in, sit back, and trust you'll discover.
You can hear the audio. We're not going to play the audio for the copyright reasons, but this is how you control. So you have the music playing. As soon as the ad is over, you can change, you can do whatever you want. So this is the call comes in. You can answer it or hang up the call. So we're going to disconnect, and it's going to go back to the application. You can continue listening to music. Okay, so now let's go into the other application. So we have the recent apps. So when you're in an application, you can go to 3 recent apps. So let's say if you want to see Waze where you're on a map, just click on the Waze, and it's going to open up the maps for you. You can also do over here, you have the reporting. If you want to report something, you just press on that. You can report police, accident, traffic hazard. So you basically click on the road, and then you can do vehicle stop on the road and just report, send. You can also go into your calls. You got contacts, voicemail. You can make phone calls. The voice button is for Siri. You press, and it's going to give you Siri. So basically, if you press the voice button, it brings up the Siri. You can tell Siri whatever you want. Take me to pizzeria.
One option I found is La Strada Pizza.
So that takes you to pizzeria or whatever you want, or you want to go somewhere.
Averages 3.5 stars and is moderately.
Open Waze. So right there, it does all this stuff for you. Go home.
I don't know who you are.
Exactly.
But you can tell me.
You can do that. You can go back into your apps, or you can press home right here, and you can go into any other application. So we have a lot of apps installed here. So CarPlay is a CarPlay in any car. CarPlay, this is normal for CarPlay to work through controller like that, because there are 2 modes of operation for Apple CarPlay, either touchscreen or remote control. It's described actually on Apple CarPlay website. So if it controls the radio, it can control the phone, and basically that's what we have over here. So if you look, that it's normal for CarPlay to work through the voice, touchscreen, or knobs and controls. So we can control it with the controls, just like a lot of cars that don't have touchscreen. They have joysticks, because CarPlay is simply up, down, left, right, back, enter. So got up, down, left, right, back, enter, and Siri. And that's it. All the applications are here. You got all the apps. And if you let's say on the last page and you want to go back, you just press back, and it's going to take to the first page. And then if you want to get out of the CarPlay, you click return, and it takes you out into the main menu of the system. Okay, but CarPlay is a CarPlay in any car. So whatever app you install in here, it's going to get automatically appear here. And you never have to worry about the updates. Today or 20 years from now, all updates are automatic. It updates only in one place and one place only, and that's here. It updates in your phone. So if the app is added, instantly it's here. If it's iOS 27, in 15 years, it's going to be automatically here. You never have to worry about updating this hardware. All the updates only happen in your phone. So whatever apps they allow, before we didn't have third-party apps. You only had maps from Apple. Now we have more apps. Now we have Google Maps. We have Genius Maps. We have Waze, as we've seen before. And you can relocate everything the way you want it. So if you go into the settings of your phone and you go into general settings and you go into CarPlay settings, and so over here you're able to, in settings, you're able to relocate anywhere you want. So basically, let's say you want to have the Waze in the front, so you take the Waze and you pull all the way to the first page, right? Let's say you want the Waze to be this, over here. Now check this out. When we're gonna go in here, the Waze is going to be on the first page. If I move the right one. Oh, I didn't move the right one. So you take the Waze and you move it all the way. Watch the screen. Watch the screen. Next to the maps, the Waze is going to appear right now. Right there. Waze appeared. And you want to put the return button back into the corner right there. That's it. Now it's going to be saved. So now you have your phone, maps, and Waze and messages all on the first page. This completes the demo of the Apple CarPlay. If you got any questions, leave them in the comment. If you enjoyed this video, please like it.
In addition to Apple CarPlay, this interface also includes Android Auto, HDMI smartphone mirroring, and a multiple camera interface.
Android Auto is like Android Auto in any car. You add applications automatically here. You call, it calls through the factory Bluetooth. Whatever you have at home, weather apps, it's all going to appear here. Let's demo HDMI mirroring. Once you press the power button, you select HDMI. So with your arrows on the remote, go into HDMI and the video will appear. Let's say you want to drive and watch the camera. So all you do, you press the power button on the remote, the interface will activate, and you have cameras here. So depends on where you go, you can watch the camera while driving, except for the rear camera. Have factory rear view camera, you cannot watch it while driving. But if you install front camera while driving. If you want to watch right camera while driving. If you want to watch rear camera while driving. So as long as you're driving, you're going to have the rear camera. So this is the cameras.
Now let's get started with the installation process. Step 1, vehicle disassembly.
First step, you're going to remove the shifter. Insert something like this and open this. There is a retainer tab. This is the retainer tab that you have to remove. Make sure not to lose it, so do not push it out. Very carefully, hold it with your hand. This retainer tab is what lets this thing comes out, so this is what holds the shifter in place. Remove this, put it on the side. This panel has to come out. Starting from the back using panel tool, you can pop this up and it just pops out, and then you move it. You want to maybe sometimes press the shifter and move it to the side. Once this is removed, you want to remove 2 screws here, and you're going to take out the panel that remove those 2 screws. So there's a panel on the bottom here that we're going to remove. This panel, it comes out from over here in the bottom. You take the panel out. There are 2 screws. You remove the screws and start removing the panel, going from the bottom to the top. The panel comes out. Now this panel will come out, put it to the side. Those are the 2 screws on the bottom here that you need to remove. Once you remove this, you need to remove 2 screws on top so this panel can come out, and you disconnect the hazard switches. Starting from one of the ends, from any edge, just grab it with the plastic tool or with your hands. You gotta find a good space, maybe from the bottom. Yeah, right there. And this whole panel is gonna come out. Disconnect the hazards from the back. Take out the panels put them back into the place. So put one back, so then you can reassemble the vehicle in reverse order. One is in. Take the second out. Put it back into its location. That's it, both are clipped in, so when you reassemble, you can put it all in one shot. Remove the screws that's holding radio. There are two screws here. Remove the two screws for the vent. This panel comes out, and there are two screws all the way in the bottom. Then you can access the back of the radio to install the plug and play harness, as we're going to show in the next step.
Step 2. Installation of the interface.
What's in the box? You're going to find the main interface. On the main interface, don't forget to set the dip switches to on position. You're going to find the main harness. This is the main harness. The main harness plugs into the interface, just like so. Then we have the update cable, so you can flash the initial software, which plugs into this side. This is where the update cable goes. You're gonna update it while the interface is not connected to the car, and then you're gonna remove the cable. This is your HDMI input. This is USB charging, or if you purchase built-in Apple Carplay and Android Auto, this is where your iPhone or Android device is going to connect, so you can see Apple Carplay or Android Auto on the screen. Into the main harness, you got the audio RCAs. So using something like this, you're going to connect the audio inputs, and this way you have your audio connected. So we got the main harness, which we're going to plug in here. So this big plug is for the main harness. You're gonna plug it like this. Then this plug and play harness, this is what connects to the back of the radio. And then you got the audio RCAs here. And using something like this, you can connect audio to the interface, so then when your Apple CarPlay Android Auto mirroring is displayed on the screen, you can hear audio. So this is how the audio connects from the interface to the car stereo. Everything is plug and play. However, keep in mind, this particular car does not have any ground signal, so you will need to connect the ground separately. You can just connect it to the body or any other ground location back of the radio, because the ground in that car comes through the antenna and it's not in the plug and play harness. Then you have the microphone that you're going to clip into the ceiling, and you're going to run the wire. So when you clip it in, you're going to run the wires through the pillars into the back of the radio. And the microphone plugs into the supplied harness as well on the interface. And then this is where the microphone is going to plug in. We're going to give you the harness. So you got the harness like this. You plug it in here. You got the microphone input. That's where the microphone plugs in. And then the last thing you got is your infrared signal for the remote control. And that's how we're going to control. So you, even though the car is touchscreen, but simply because it's all-in-one radio, you cannot use the touchscreen, and for that reason you need to use the remote. The remote is specifically designed to hug the steering wheel. You look at the shape, and it becomes the part of the steering wheel, doesn't stick out. It's like it was naturally born there. And so on this car, we're going to show you how to put the remote, but this is what's going to control the CarPlay experience or Android Auto on the car screen. So now that you know what's in the box, take this interface, connect to your Mac or PC and update it, and we're going to show you how to update the interface now.
Do not forget to program the interface. All interfaces are shipped blank, as they need to be configured by the installer or end user. Programming process will take less than 1 minute and can be performed using Windows or Mac computer.
How to update the software. It doesn't matter what you're updating, whether you're updating camera interface, video in motion interface, wireless mirroring interface, or Apple CarPlay interface. The process of update is identical. Updater works on Mac and Windows-based PC, so we have for both Windows and Mac. To update, you need a cable like this. It's a standard cable. One end of the cable is micro USB, and the other is a standard USB. This goes to the computer, and the micro USB goes into the interface. Connect this end into the computer, Mac or Windows. Connect the other end into your interface you're updating. Again, any interface. Once the interface is connected, information is going to appear on the screen, and install desired software. Just for the test purposes, we're going to show you how to update it with Cadillac CTS software, Video in Motion, and hit install. So now it's installing and shows you progress bar and a percentage. So it takes only seconds to update it. So you download the updater from the website for Mac or Windows. That's going to take you approximately 60 seconds. And then the update process takes only another minute or so. This is how to update the interface. So we're showing you the update process. And the entire process only takes less than a minute. Okay, the update process is done, and it's 99%. It says do not disconnect. In about a second, it's going to tell you that it's complete, and you can disconnect the interface. There you go. Device settings updated, and you're done. So entire update process takes only about 2 minutes. You download software from the website for Mac or Windows, about a minute, and update takes another minute. And all you need is a cable like this. So USB cable to micro USB. Okay, now that you have programmed the interface, start the installation. So you removed all the screws previously. Pull this panel out first, just on the bottom, comes out. Pull the radio out. It's easier if somebody's helping you to hold it on the other end if you don't do it for a living on a daily basis. So first thing we're going to install is the plug and play harness. So this is the main plug and play harness. This is what you're installing here. So you got these two connectors you need to plug in, and you need to find their matching connectors in the back of the radio. So we need to find these two connectors, unplug them, plug them in here, and then plug this back into the radio. So let's see where those connectors are in the back. So on this particular car, they on the right side, right here, both one above each other. So I unplug them. I'm gonna take the two connectors that we supplied you with, 1 and 2, plug them back into the radio. And after I plug them back into the radio, I'm going to take the factory connectors that I previously unplugged, and plug them into the harness that were removed. So one goes in here. Keep in mind, we just plug in everything to test. You don't want to close the car. You want to test everything before you make everything pretty and hide the interface behind the radio and close it. Alright, so the factory harness is installed. Alright, at this point the radio should come back on. Now, next step, you take this harness, this is the main harness, and you can remove the tie wrap. We don't need to do it for this installation, but you plug it into this connection, and now this is connected together. Now we need to connect the audio together to make sure that we have the audio. So we got this audio RCAs on the main plug and play harness. You need something like this. Plug one, and you plug in the second one. This is how the audio is going to travel from the interface into the system, and then you take the two audio RCAs and you connect them together. These are your extra cameras. You can install up to 4 cameras. So you have the rear camera, you can install side and front cameras. Now, once you have all this installed, we have a secondary thing to install. Over here, we got on the interface harness, we got a secondary connector. You plug it in here. You got the microphone that you're going to run from the ceiling of the car. This is going to get clipped in into the ceiling just like this. You clip it in and then you run it. And then you got the remote receiver, the receiver for the remote control. So you connect the receiver. Usually you would mount it, it comes with double-sided tape. You mount it to the back of the steering wheel so it's like factory, and you run the wires into the panel so you don't see it. And then you take the remote and you're going to go ahead and install the remote control. So we're going to plug in the box that we just updated. And we're going to temporarily close everything just to make sure that everything works. Then after we know, okay, everything works, then we're going to make everything pretty and close the car. But we want to make sure that everything works before we do anything else. And so for that reason, we're not closing the car completely. We're just plugging everything in, putting the radio back into its place. And because all we're doing for now is just testing to make sure that everything works. All right, once you have everything plugged in, radio is back on. You take the remote and you put it like this. In this car, it's a very good location over here. As you can see, due to the design of the remote, it looks like it's the part of the steering wheel. It doesn't stick out, it sits here and it's not gonna bother you when you're driving. It's gonna be just like factory here. So we connected everything. Next step, we want to determine the type of camera we have. So let's go ahead and figure out what camera we have. If you have a single camera, then you need to change something. You have 360 camera, you don't change anything. So let's go ahead and set this radio for 360 camera because this has a single camera, so we need to change the output to 360 camera. If you have a 360 camera, you're not changing anything. So now we need to change to 360 camera because this is a single camera car. Make sure your audio is off. So if it's on, set it to off. Press and hold the menu button. Rotate left, right, left, right, left, right. Go into confirmation adjustment. Go all the way down to camera. And then change the camera from rear camera to AVM. Set it to on. So camera system type AVM. Then go back and wait for the radio to restart. Once the radio restarts, you're going to be in a AVM mode. It's audio video mode. And this way we can add our interface and have the interface show up on a screen when you press the buttons on the remote. Now radio has restarted. What we're going to do is we're going to activate the interface. You press the power button remote. Let me put the remote towards you so you can see it better. Now we have the interface activated and we can go through all the settings. You have extra cameras. Your car has a factory rear view camera, so this simple will not do anything. Front camera, left camera, right camera, HDMI, and then once you connect the phone, this will highlight. Before we do that, we need to adjust the settings. Now you can see it's bright. I'm going to press this button, it's going to get a little darker. So this is a day mode. In the day mode, you want to touch the screen anywhere. This is the adjustments you want to have. Brightness, all the way up. Contrast, all the way down. Tint, in the middle. Color, all the way down. Black level, in the middle. Then you want to press this button once. Get into night mode and have the same settings. Brightness, all the way up. Contrast, all the way down. You can do contrast all the way down. Tint, in the middle. Color, all the way down. Black level, in the middle. Alright? So at night, when there's not that much daylight, it's going to still look bright because when night hits, the screen looks much brighter. So we want to test everything out. As you see, there's a highlight of the remote. That's where we are. When you go with the remote, it's going to highlight wherever you go. So look at these arrows. You go arrow right, rear camera, which you don't have to use because you already have. Front camera, you can add a front camera. Left lane watch camera, you see watches your lane. Right lane watch camera, HDMI, and Apple Carplay and Android Auto. We're going to show it to you. So when all the interface is working, we know that everything is proper, and we know that we can go ahead and start putting the car together. To see the demo on how to operate this, you go to the beginning of the video.
Thanks for watching. Please click the link on the left to subscribe to the channel, or click the link on the right to watch another video.